had against Pierpont Lemkin, he could be in trouble the way that JSR has been playing lately.
Absolutely. But what a crazy race we had the last time you and I did commentary together, the Cantaloupe Simple Dude race.
That was an unbelievable race going on. I mean, again, the deficit between the two players doesn't reflect.
What the heck is that icon data?
Oh, anyway. My goodness gracious. Anyways.
It is, by the way, 118.27 for 2Gamers.
Yeah, so that hasn't changed. But anyways, as I was going to say, yeah, the deficit was 80 seconds, but that reflects nothing on how both of those players played in the race. It all came down to the encounter luck that Simple Dude was able to get in the second half of the game, whereas Cantaloupe did not have that kind of luck.
So yeah, guys, unfortunately I'm gonna have to use James's timer only because JN has a silly Twitch logo covering his on my multi-Twitch, which is kind of frustrating, but that's how it's gonna have to be.
All right. Well, we're going to get a synchronized time here from Ness Martin in just a moment. And by the way, this is not the only restream that's going on.
Yeah, that's right. We got something special going on here. There is also a Swedish restream going on at twitch.tv/Ludendi, where Sven will be doing the commentary in Swedish, the same race here. So you have two opportunities to watch this race. So if you want to get to listen to the commentary in a different language, that's where you need to go. So we have got a double restream on the same race. Should be quite a treat.
All right. Now both of these runners are off and running. Yeah, of course, we mentioned this before. We're looking for the first P-bag drop.
Yeah, and it looks like JSR is about 8 to 10 seconds behind stream-wise. I'm gonna time it here on the...
Alright, so we see... Yeah, I didn't see if ProJN got his P-bag drop, but JSR did not.
ProJR, huh?
ProJN, yes.
No, he did not.
So James
neither player.
Stream-wise, James is 11 seconds behind. That's really not something I can fix, unfortunately, and we'll just have to live with it, I guess.
Well, one thing you could do is... Well, I've got 105 on both. What do you have?
What is your timestamps, Ness Martin?
1:15 JN, 1:10 James. So it's about a 5 second difference, I guess.
Okay. I just want to make sure I get both of them at the same time, but that is on JN's end. Okay, there we go. So now that we've got that all covered here, we saw 2Gamers go over to the jump cave, or rather not the jump cave, the trophy cave. He tackled off against the Gria. He got the trophy already. Now he's going to town.
Yeah, that's right. By going to the Dark Trophy Cave, you're picking up the lost experience points that you were unable to get on the 50-point P-Bag. And it's only a 1 out of 8 chance you're getting that 50-point P-Bag drop out of the Dark Trophy Cave, or the Dark Magic Cave, rather. So you're going to go to the Dark Trophy Cave, or in ProJN's case, he's not going to do that considering his skill level, so he's just going to go for it and go to Palace 1 right now. But what that's going to mean is if he wants to have attack level 4 coming out of Palace 1, he must get both of the 200-point P-Bags.
And we're going to see whether or not he can get the early skip here. Try to set it up by ducking over the corner, and the enemy bots say no, he's got to take this encounter.
Ooh, and that could give an opening for JSR. And that's the kind of luck JSR is going to need against ProJN right now. And, just missing that bubble, and that could have been disastrous. Now, the bubbles, to my recollection, will always knock you to the right side. So if he would have got hit, he might have been okay, but you don't want to take any chances this early in the game.
And we're going to see him kill the Gria here to at least get 20 of the points out of there. And now he's off to Parappa Palace.
Yep, that's right. So now JSR has gotten through that dark cave. Now this is the screen where you've really got to be careful. The bubbles, again, they're going to knock you to the right. So if you're making a jump across these watery crevices here and you get hit, chances are you're taking a bath, and you don't want to be taking a bath right now.
Yeah, it's not the best place to be taking a bath, and 2Gamers gets the skip.
Perfect. That is exactly what 2Gamers needs to keep up with ProJN, as he is now in the first palace of the game, the Parappa Palace.
So as we've mentioned just a few moments ago, 2Gamers ended up going to the Trophy Cave after not getting the P-Bag out of the Magic Cave. And here we go. The first palace, the Gray Palace.
Right, the Gray Palace, because this is the most dull, bland color palace in the entire game. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Rick. In the FDS version, there's actually several of these gray paletted palaces.
You're correct. I can't remember which ones they are, but we have people in chat who can definitely answer that one for us. As we're going to try to see what they can't leave here with attack 4. That'd be the optimal strats, but if they don't leave here with attack 4, let's see where they end up leaving here. Attack 3 probably would be their par.
Yeah, that's right. And in Pro JN's case, if he leaves with attack level 3, it's not going to really affect him too much considering his caliber. If JSR leaves with attack 3, that's really going to affect him considering, again, this is pretty much the David versus Goliath matchup here. JSR's got to have everything roll right for him. And because he went into the Dark Trophy game, he only needs to get one out of the two 200-point P-Bags.
By the way, 1, 2, and 5 is what we're being told in chat in the FDS version.
All right, courtesy of Rep2369, thank you very much for the information. So we continue on the race here. Now, it's every 6th enemy in the large drop group set that's going to drop either that 200-point P-Bag or that red magic jar that fills up your entire magic meter. And they're going to set this up properly so that they're going to get the first of these 2 P-Bag drops on a red Stalfos. Now, why the red Stalfos is because he's worth 30 experience points as opposed to 50 points for either the Doom Rattles or the orange Iron Knuckles. So you're missing out on fewer experience points if you set yourself up to get the P-Bag drop or red jar there.
That's a mouthful.
It certainly is.
Did you guys introduce yourselves, by the way?
Well,
I'm pretty sure we could
go
introduce.
ahead
Yeah.
while they're making their way towards the candle. During the semifinal matchup, I'm the lower toned of Adirondack Rick. He is the louder, boomy voice of
LZ Cards Fan 23.
And the restreamer is
NES Martin.
NES Martin indeed. So also, again, for those of you who don't know, there is a second restream in Swedish at Ludendi's Twitch channel if you want to get the Swedish experience of this race.
Well, we were talking IKEA earlier. That's not enough Swedish taste for you.
Right.
All right, now we've got to see use of shield here on JN's end because he's down to 1 1/2 bars as he opts to go with life 2 here. This is more of a safety strat than anything else at this point because he has to go with that.
Yeah, that's right, because chances are there's only a 1 in 4 chance you're going to get both P-Bag drops, so you're better off trying to get life 2.
Oh, red jar.
So no attack 4 for Pro JN. This is an opening here for JSR. All he needs is one of the 2 P-Bag drops, and he will assure himself to get attack level 4 coming out of this palace. And that is going to be huge when we get to a little place known as Death Mountain.
Now, because the streams are a little behind each other, we'll give you timestamps where they stand as far as who leads at what point, but we'll try to do it at a point where both of them have already left on your end. As we see 2Gamers going up against the first opportunity to see whether or not he can't get the P-Bag drop.
So there is the candle pickup now on JSR's, and we'll see if he's able to get that P-Bag drop against this red Stalfos coming up in the next room. If he gets it, he'll be in good shape.
You're correct. JN, he's one of the best. Obviously, the world record holder. He's going to adjust his game plan because he's not going to be leaving here with attack 4 by the looks of things.
No, there's no chance because he needed to get both P-Bag drops since he didn't go into Dark Trophy Cave.
So also got to be careful not to accidentally take a level up.
Yeah, you don't. We've seen that happen a few times in the tournament already. That a poor level up that's really costing. Oh no, a red jar from that red Stalfos for JSR. So that's one of the 2 strikes down. If he gets a red jar from the orange Iron Knuckle, he too will not have attack 4 coming out of this palace.
So P-Bag skips it because he doesn't need it at this point. He knows he can't use it.
Yeah, because even if he picks up that P-Bag, he's only going to have 492 points because Horsehead here, the boss of Palace 1, is worth only 50 points.
It's probably going, why couldn't you give me that P-Bag earlier?
Well, it's obvious. It's the old mantra that I always like to proclaim. The game knows.
Well, the game definitely knows. as Pro Jan will put the crystal into the palace at the end of number 1 and walk out.
Moment of truth here for JSR. He needs that P bag drop badly from this orange Dialico. He gets it!
Oh, big, huge move right there, and that's going to help him out.
Yeah,
And
you guys...
8:41 for the exit of Palace number 1 for Pro JN.
You guys are unfortunately about 8 seconds ahead of James.
Well,
What do you have for James, please, NES Martin? The time?
8:51, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9 minutes.
And now the time for Pro JN.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, sorry chat, we're just trying to sync up the commentators here.
Okay, we should be in good shape now. I've got him to where you've got him.
Yeah, just trying to unavoid unnecessary spoilers.
Perfect.
oh, absolutely.
All right.
And that's what we need to do is make sure that we don't mention things about P-bags once it happens on our end because, well, you know, it's one of those things that happens here. So Jump Town, get the jump spell, make your way to the south. Both runners doing pretty good so far. I know Jan would love to have attack 4 out of Palace number 1.
Yeah, it's about an even race here coming in. Again, both the runners are about 7 seconds apart from the split time. So Pro Jan, just to let you know, Pro Jan's ahead of JSR on the clock by about 7 seconds. So that's why there's a little bit of behind on JSR's end. But Pro Jan has just picked up the jump spell. Of course, what the jump spell does is makes you jump really high, and you need it immediately in the cave due south of the town of Rudo here.
So what are we going to be watching out for as we make our way to Death Mountain?
First of all, before we get to Death Mountain, there's a couple of items of business they have to take care of. First, after they get past this cave here, they have to make a trek to Bagu's house because they have to get this note from Bagu in order to cross a bridge that's in the town of Saria, because past the town of Saria is said Death Mountain.
You know, when you get P bags and you don't need them.
Yeah, I know, right? It's P bags for days, or as I like to say, the rich get richer. And then there's just some of these players that just keep on getting red jars over and over again. But right now they are 50-50 in that department. Pro JN gets out of that cave here. He's going to try and get to Bagu's house without any encounters.
What do you think Pro JN is drinking right now?
I have no idea. I don't drink, so I couldn't answer that question for you, Rick.
Oh, he takes the encounter on Bagu's house.
That is the worst place to take the encounter because you have to go back and forth, and you got to be careful because there are 2 tiles that surround Bagu's house that are actually fixed encounter squares, and you want to avoid them at all costs.
And yeah, if I know JN, he's probably drinking beer.
That's what it looked like to me. That's why I was curious.
JSR is unable to get to Bagu's house cleanly. He takes 1 encounter, and hopefully that's the only encounter. Can he make it? No! He takes a 2nd encounter.
Yeah, that's definitely beer he's drinking. Beer confirmed.
Oh, yeah. You gotta have a little bit of fun here.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure, Rick. You got to have some fun here, but remember, not too much because Pro Jan's got to take his opponent seriously. JSR again is one of these up and coming Zelda 2 runners here who has really improved his PB quite a bit.
2Gamers have definitely moved along, and we've been told that Sven unfortunately had a computer issue, so he's not able to do the restream.
Ooh, that hurts. That's a shame.
Yeah, that
but
is,
anyways,
unfortunately.
So anyways,
yeah, the Life Town.
Yes,
grab a mirror.
Grab a mirror out of one of these houses here, and you got to return this mirror to this girl who's holding some water on her head, and you get this life spell here, the 3rd spell of the game. Very useful because it refills 3 full bars of your life meter, and you're going to see these players use it early and often.
Yeah, it's one of the most useful non-required spells of the game. Take a sip for us, buddy.
Yep, taking another sip for everybody. Yeah, you're not seeing this on the restream, but yeah, Pro JN's and knocking back a cold one.
Well, leaving Palace 123 seconds behind PB in world record pace, I think a cold one's needed right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You know Bagu, Rick?
No, I don't.
Well, then I'm afraid I can't help you cross this bridge that'll get you to Death Mountain.
How do I find Bagu?
You have to go into this forest here and make sure you don't hit one of those random encounter tiles, and his house is buried deep in that forest. So here we go. This is the first cave of Death Mountain here, Rick, and you've got, oh my gosh.
I know error, though.
Well, knowing error is fine, but it's not going to do much good in the speed run.
You mean I'm not supposed to go all the way back to that jump town and visit error again?
You can if you want to, but it's not going to do you any good, Rick.
Why not?
Because error is not a requirement in the speed run.
Can't we make it a requirement, Ness Martin?
We could, but I bet the Zelda 2 community would object.
Anyways, we're making our way through Death Mountain, and we're going to meet up with the Dire coming up. You want to talk about those?
Yeah, they pack a punch because of these axe-wielding enemies. They chop you with these axes here, and they take a big chunk of your health, and especially for beginning players here, they're going to cause you fits because a couple hits from them, even at life 2, and you're dead pretty much.
Yeah, and 2Gamers has got to be careful with his magic usage. He just used it now, or he's about ready to use it. Oh,
yeah,
goodness.
he's just used it. Now here's these red Dyras on Pro JN's. Got to be really careful. But he made quick work out of that. Even on attack 3, didn't even give him a chance to throw an axe at him. They throw a lot of axes at you, and they can throw several at succession. And if you're not quick on your feet, you're gonna get killed that way too.
There we go. So you mentioned these Bagus. They're annoying.
Yeah, Bagos are very annoying skullfish. They shoot these rocks at you, and if you get bopped by them, you lose some of your experience points. And they take quite a bit of your health away, too.
I'm kind of worried about 2Gamers in this room here.
Yeah, he's very low on magic right here. Oh, wow, that's a
fast kill.
Nice. Very, very nice there. All right, so right now, Pro JN is in the cave that has the red magic jar at the end. He's got to get past these bots and this last orange diver, but he did no problem at all.
Just right, slicing through him like butter.
Yep, that's right. So we're going to find out exactly where these players are going to stand when they pick up the hammer. The hammer, very important item here. In addition to this, the fact being this is a 100% run. 100% means you have to pick up all the items in the game, all of the, an unfortunate red jar drop there for JSR. And I say it's unfortunate, even though it helps him in that situation. I say it's unfortunate because there's a red jar that's going to be waiting for him at the end of this cave.
Yeah, but I think this allows him to be a little more looser in this cave here.
That is one good way to put it there, Rick. As I was saying, in addition to getting all the items, you have to have all of the magic containers, all of the life containers, both of the sword abilities, and all of the spells in the game, plus all of the keys. That's what constitutes a 100% all keys run. You don't have to get all of the one-up dolls, though.
Well, the idea here is you want to get through this as fast as you possibly can, but you definitely want to get to this ladder. Oh, P-back drop for JN, and he gives that big nod of approval.
Yep, that's one of the Pro JN needed that, because that's going to pretty much put him even. Now, did you see what JSR did against that red Dyra? He stopped before he moved on to the next room, and there's 2 reasons why you stop there. Number 1, if you proceed without the experience points adding up, you lose those 100 points. And secondly, that red Dyra is going to respawn when that happens.
Just want to point out that Pro JN 1719 at the hammer. We're about to get to 2Gamers splitting. Ooh, a red jar.
I've got a 1740 for JSR picking up that hammer, so we're talking 21 seconds.
21 seconds of difference here between the 2 runners.
But I mean, it just goes to show, Rick, that even with attack 3, Pro JN can get through this Death Mountain rather quickly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's not a huge difference between attack 3 and attack 4. Yeah, there's going to be enemies that take a lot more hits required, but it's not a mega difference between the 2 attack powers.
And there we see that Pro JN just picked up the 6th magic container out of the possible 8. And he is going to take the gamble here. Some people, and the gamble does not pay off for ProJN.
The
an encounter
last
before.
possible
Yes.
tile.
Now, what I mean there is that cave, you could go back into that middle cave that's going to reset the encounter timer, and that's going to guarantee you take no encounters before you get into this cave that's full of large lava pits and Octoroks. Unfortunately, he took the gamble, and that's going to cost him some of his lead.
Yeah, it's not a lot of time, but you're talking about
JSR is
5-6
going to gamble.
seconds.
He is successful. He took the same gamble, and that's the kind of luck a JSR has to keep on getting throughout this run.
I'd like to talk to him about his luck sometimes because he's just been having quite the wild ride through this entire tournament. Like I said, like we mentioned before, he is the Cinderella story of this tournament.
That was a pretty good red Dyra kill there for ProJN on the second part of that segmented bridge. Well played.
Yeah, we're seeing a difference here between the two runners as far as their experiences are concerned. 4, 2, and 3 on 2Gamers' end. 4, 1, and 2 on JN's end.
As long as they keep getting the experience points they need, they are going to converge paths at the end of Palace 3. They should both be, or at the end of Palace 2. Well, actually, at the end of Palace 3, they're going to both probably going to end up being at 7-3-3.
That's an interesting strategical boulder dash here on JN's end, but he makes it work. It's into the cave unscathed.
Yeah,
Yep,
it's
very
actually the backup strat.
As that's the backup strat. What's the backup strat?
I have no idea what the backup strat is.
If you don't get the encounter, you can move towards, continue walking normally, and then turn around and move 5 tiles, and then turn back on the normal path. And usually that works.
And that's because you're trying to trigger the steps encounter, correct?
Yeah, you get the dual encounters.
Well, ProJN decides to take the death abuse right there after picking up the medicine right there. So we've seen a couple players do that strategy already, and we'll see if JSR does the same thing. Nope. And he was 4 seconds behind, just 4 seconds behind ProJN before that, but by taking that death abuse, ProJN will have a bigger lead now.
Yeah, I think he did that because he did not have enough magic to cast Jump in Fairy Town. And that actually saves time over going to the Magic Lady.
Oh.
That would explain it, yes. Not having enough magic to cast the jump spell. And we're going to show you what we mean by that in just a moment as they go into the next town of the game. This is the town of Mito here, coming up.
And JN showing some kind of laughing disapproval after he gets bobbed by the large enemy, on the clear tile at least.
All right, so here we are.
2Gamers getting a clean entry into town.
That's exactly what he needed. So here we are at ProJN casting the jump spell to get to the top of this church here, where you're going to get your first of 2 sword abilities here. This first one that you're going to get is very useful. You're going to be using it a ton during the game, especially useful against Blue Iron Knuckles. It's the downward stab.
Yeah, this race here is tight right now. 21-52 on JN's end to Talk to the Knight, and 2Gamers, he's just right behind at 21-58, 6 seconds.
Boy, we've got ourselves one heck of a race between these 2 fine Zelda racers. Whoever wins this punches their ticket into the championship match in this Zelda 2 tournament.
Winner will be facing off against the winner of the Simple Dude versus Error semifinal. The date has not been determined yet, but we'll figure out when that's going to be at some point. And time to speak to a lady here, and the reason why. Let's go ahead and learn the fairy spell. An interesting strat here from JN, just pushing right while he's grabbing, I think, is he grabbing another drink?
Probably. I mean, I'm telling you, he's got to take this race seriously here, Rick. I mean, I know he can do this race while under the influence, so to speak, but you got to know who your opponent is. JSR right now is running a good race, and if he keeps running the race that he's been doing, who knows what might happen.
Oh, no, he's just grabbing snacks.
Okay, well, that scared me for a moment there, Rick. So
he's got the drink there, but I think he's got some snacks. This is interesting, though.
Very interesting indeed. Ooh, ProJN takes the encounter, but luckily for him, it's on the road and not in the desert here, so he's not going to lose as much time.
2Gamers is grabbing, has a drink too, so everyone pick up.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you one thing, Rick. In spite of what I'm seeing here, you're not going to convince me to drink on stream. I'm sorry, that's just not happening.
No, it helps with the nerves, guys.
We're having a lot of fun here, as you can actually see. Now, both of these players are in the hard cave. Unfortunately for ProJN, is not able to use the fairy spell, and JSR won't be able to use the fairy spell either. He got the 200-point P bag out of that blue Gorilla. Now, why using the fairy spell when picking up the treasure is important? Well, when you pick up a treasure, Link saying, hey, look at me, I've got the heart container here. Well, if you use the fairy spell, you save on that animation.
Yep, that's correct. And we'll be seeing that over the course of this run. They'll be using that to prevent themselves from having to waste that time. Speedish runners are better on alcohol.
ProJN takes an encounter on the road. Ooh, and Sprite, please, trolling JSR here.
Maybe he should switch to Coke.
Yeah, maybe. And JSR goes into that cave to reset the encounter clock. Is that going to work for him? No, he takes a heavy encounter, and now he's got to deal with these Moby birds. I hate these birds, but no damage there. But that is going to cost him a lot of time. He's got to hope there's no more encounters.
Yeah, he's going to hope that that's the last of his encounters here on Osweda Palace.
Can he make it? Can he make it? Can he make it? Yes!
He got it just
wow.
barely.
Just avoided another heavy encounter there. That was amazing. So good swamp blocks for both of these players, but ProJN will have an edge on them a little bit as we go into the second palace of the game. This is the Maduro Palace.
Yep, you're here at the Maduro Swamp. You're heading your way through Palace number 2. You're going to pick up a glove, and unfortunately, it's not a glove that you can use to push buttons and play your video games. It's a glove that's going to break open blocks.
Yep, that's right. As contrary to what you think it might do, it does not increase the attack of your sword. It just makes your sword stronger against those blocks. And that's going to be important later on in this game. In fact, you're going to see the first use of it potentially in this palace. Not to mention one other thing, Rick, it's actually a required item no matter what category you run.
And why is that?
Well, because in these palaces that you have to go through, you've got to break blocks somewhere along the way, and without that glove, you can't progress.
Well,
don't
you need it in glitch categories too?
You do need it in glitch categories.
Makes it a whole lot interesting there if you don't grab that glove, and I know it's definitely a thing in randomizer. You want to find that glove sometime.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, in randomizer, it's always in Palace 5, guys.
Now that I didn't know. From what I just was told, the glove is always in Palace 5 in randomizer races. I've only seen a handful of Zelda 2 randomizer races, but just based on what I see, they're actually quite interesting, quite fun to watch.
What's the worst palace in randomizer?
5.
Of course.
That explains it.
ProJN's in this very treacherous room with these bots and lava. He's not going to use the fairy spell. He's a professional. No problem in that room for him. Some people might use the fairy spell after grabbing the key because you just never know what those bots are going to do, because what they love to do is knock into that lava.
Oh,
Well,
no.
it looks like he's queuing up for a fairy after he grabs the key as 2Gamers, and no, he's not going to.
No
Well, he
P-bag
thought
for
about
Jay.
it. Took a gamble there. I think he got it ready just in case they decided to troll, but no trolling on JSR's end. Well-played room. Both players had a well-played lava room.
Yep, a nice defensive room there, I guess. Defensive strats, you have to have them. P-bag luck there for 2Gamers.
2Gamers is going to have no problem getting attack level 6 coming out of Palace number 2, and here's the reason why. Looking at his numbers, he's at 4, 2, 3. Getting bopped there by that block, but that's about it. That room is very treacherous when you don't have that magic glove, because there's a chance you can get trapped in there if they fall very quickly in the same column.
Yep, you could be trapped in there and end up having to say, hey, how you doing? I'm going to have to take a death.
Clean room there for JSR. He had no problems with those blocks there. Good pattern for him.
Yeah, he's going to get attacks 5 in this first Iron Knuckle.
Yep. Yeah, Link is long. That's kind of the inside joke that Zelda 2 runners have. Whenever you get hit by a block, you get a concussion, then you call him Lunk. I don't know why Lunk, but that's just what it is.
Speaking of concussions, he took 2 of them in that room.
Ouch. Send him to the concussion protocol.
What is he, Cam Newton?
Or anybody who gets a lot of concussions. Who was it? Was it Troy Aikman that got a lot of concussions during his career?
I think so too. Anyways, 2Gamers still not getting bonked in the head by blocks.
No, he's 2 clean block rooms there for JSR. Again, that's the kind of luck he has to have throughout this entire race. And so far, he's playing the same kind of first half that Cantaloupe was playing in his race against Simpleton. Now, the question is, will his luck carry over to Eastern High Roll as it didn't for Cantaloupe?
Yeah, another red jar for JN. Yes, no
Thank
luck
goodness.
with the P-bags.
Well, the good news for Pro JN here is that he's on 5-1-2. To get to Life 3, you only need 150 points. He already can get to attack level 6 because the boss of this palace here, Helmet Head, he's worth 200 points. So even with the early deficit here, he could still get to attack level 6. In JSR's case, he's in really good shape. To get to Life 4, it's 400 points. No problems there.
And we're going to see JN take the Magic 2 now to get himself caught up to where 2Gamers has been Magic-wise for much of this run.
Absolutely. And again, as I said before, the early deficit that Pro JN had experience-wise, yeah, the bots, nobody likes bots in this game, let's face it. I mean, they're so trolly, and again, they love to put people in the lava. I mean, they look so innocent and, very weak, but boy, they are pretty trolly, to say the least.
Well, this is the kind of spot in the tournament where any mistake could really come back to haunt you.
Yeah, no question about it. And neither of these players are going to take that 100-point P-bag off that disintegrating bridge. Because, again, both of these players, experience-wise, are in really good shape. 300
And
points.
Another red jar for JN.
JN is getting so unlucky with the P-bags.
Yeah, it's...
He's starting to get to that point where you don't really need the P-bags, but still would be really
And JSR gets a favorable red jar drop because he was low on magic, and he may need it against Helmet Head.
Oh, what a Helmet Head!
Yeah, don't blink, you're going to miss it. Man, that was a tremendously good Helmet Head fight there for Pro JN. And JSR, good fight for him as well. So it's about 30-30 at the crystal placement for Pro JN. What's it going to be for JSR? He's going to be right behind him, about 3 or 4 seconds behind him.
4 seconds.
And yeah,
wow.
JN is going to have to kill a couple of more enemies in Palace 3 because of his level deficiency.
This swamp could give JSR a chance to catch up if he's lucky, but he's not lucky.
Yep, and now he's just going to make sure he doesn't leave here before he gets to his attack 6.
Pro JN ended up taking 2 encounters out of the swamp, and that is it. Pro JN takes one on the road. That is fine. Hopefully he does not take another one in the swamp, however, because that's going to cost him a lot of time. He gets out of the swamp, and that he's trying to slink, but he gets trolled. Tough break there for JSR. Still not a bad swamp for him, but that is going to give Pro JN a few extra seconds because of the additional encounter on the road that JSR took.
Yep. And you see he's going to go into the King's Tomb to reset his counter, then headed quickly into the cave that brings you over to Palace number 3, the Island Palace.
Yeah, it's an island palace because, well, let's face it, this palace is on an island surrounded by a lot of water here next to this graveyard here. Now, you got to be careful not to take an encounter here. Pro J, and not successful. A chance for JSR here.
Ooh, yeah. It looked like at first he had a favorable setup, but they came back to get him.
Yeah, sometimes you can do everything right, but then the game just decides to deal you a bad hand. What will JSR happen to him? He also gets hit.
He didn't have a chance.
Yep, no chance. He just got very unlucky there.
Well, we gotta do the thing and do the thing and do the thing and do the thing, and JN gets the Life 3.
Oh, there is a highlight on my Twitch channel where I do a really bad John Madden impersonation.
Well, you gotta do the thing, and then you gotta do the thing, and then get your tough acting to next, and then get shop at Ace Hardware to get your paints.
Or if you're a Mad TV fan, hey folks, John Madden here for the quick popcorn popper.
All right, Palace number 3, they're going for a raft.
That's right, they're going for the raft, and hopefully for both these runners' sake. Now, you can't buy it at Ace Hardware or any of these stores at all, because what the raft does here is hopefully they only use it once during this race. What it does is it's going to transport them from Western High Roll into Eastern High Roll. And remember during the race between Cantaloupe and Simple Dude, they were dead tied when they got onto that raft going east Hyrule. It looks like we're gonna see a similar situation between these racers coming out of Palace 3.
We could have ourselves quite the race as you ventured to the only spot in this game where you're outdoors.
Oh, I was waiting for that commentary.
Yes, indeed. Yep, the only palace where you can get a breath of fresh air, unless, of course, you let, and we saw it on JSR's end, unless you let these fiery moas drop their flames, and we just saw it 3 times.
Don't you realize smoking's bad for your health?
Well, yeah, but evidently that fiery moa doesn't know that. And we're going to see a specific fiery moa come up in Palace number 5 that I have come to give a special name to, and we'll see that later.
Parappa Palace is called Parappa because Parappa the rapper lives there.
Good one, right? NT85. Now, both of these players got through this lava room. No problem at all. That's another room where these bots like to troll the runners here, try to bob them into the lava. And you see that Pro JN picked up the raft and used the fairy spell, and JSR's got to get that jackhammer down. He's down to help. No!
And a few 4-letter words probably were uttered from 2Gamers' webcam at that point.
I'm sure of it. Now he gets the jackhammer.
He doesn't have it though.
Well, now he does, but that's a very bad death to take. That is going to give Pro JN a big lead.
Yeah, James is really struggling with those jackhammers.
Yeah, I wonder if the pressure of being in the semifinals is starting to get to him.
It looked like it, because, I mean, jackhammer is one of those moves that you can do the same thing over and over again, but when that happens, and that bot nearly got JSR, that really could
that would have been horrible. That would have been really horrible to lose 2 lives in Palace.
Yeah, because he didn't have enough magic to cast Fairy Spell in case that would have happened. That could have been really disastrous for JSR.
And by the way, we do know that 2Gamers has no clue where he is in this race.
Yeah, he's not looking at the restream. He's not getting help from his chat. So, yeah, that's a tough death to take there, folks.
Yeah, and he doesn't know where he is. He might be thinking he's now about a minute behind.
I don't think he's going to be a minute behind coming out of this palace, but he's definitely going to meet, I'd say, 45 seconds if I were to take a guess. Here's this room that you don't like, Rick, that JSR is in.
Yeah, we saw JN go real easy through this room here, and 2Gamers has a good setup in this room too.
No problem at all, except he swung and missed.
Never mind. That's a swing and a miss, strike 1.
Yep, the commentator's curse right there. Well, here's the boss of Palace number 3. It is time for Rebanek, and he's worth 301. Yes, folks, 301 experience points. It says 300 on the screen, but I guess 300 is not a favorite number.
Careful.
Oh no! Enough for Parker. And this is going to give JSR a chance to catch up. Wow! What a turn of events, ladies and gentlemen.
And
I did not see that coming.
And that's going to come into play when we get to Palace number 4 with the death abuses. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Here's Rebanek Part 2.
Yeah, 2 deaths already for Pro JN. 1 was intentional. 1 death for JSR. Yeah, that is going to come into play.
I forgot all about that intentional death.
Yes, the death abuse in the lava. So the clock is 36:43 for Pro JN putting the crystal in out of Palace 3 as he gets past Rebanek. And again, 7-3-3, they're all going to converge, and Rebanek not cooperating with JSR. Finally does get the jackhammer, though. Yes.
Wow. Anyways, so it was 36:43 you said, right?
Correct. So JSR is now going to come out of Palace at 36:59. 16 seconds.
16 seconds difference here. He lost 10 seconds, but he could have been a lot further back if JN didn't take that death to Rebanek. He gives the thumbs down to Palace, but again, he has no clue how close he is to JN in this race.
6 seconds gained by James there. JN took an encounter.
Yeah, no encounter for JSR coming out of the Island Palace. Pro JN took that encounter. Now he's back to King's Tomb to reset himself as he is about to go onto the raft at a time of 37:40 going into Eastern Hyrule, where he'll be going to the next town of the game. This is going to be the town of Naburu here. And we've got ourselves a citizen coming up here, but does not get trolled by Sprite. Very good. So here we are, folks. This is the moment I think you've all been waiting for. This is the town of Naburu here. This
37.53 for 2Gamers on the raft. 37.53.
13 seconds. So 13 seconds between the two players. We've got ourselves a race here. It's all going to come down to, again, counter skips, I think. So this lady citizen here asks for a drink of water from Link here, which is all well and good, Rick, but she lives 20 feet from the fountain, or as I like to say, 6 or 7 yards or meters. Come on! 20 feet from the fountain. Can't you get the water yourself?
But come on, she does give you the best spell in the game.
Well, it depends on who you're talking to. Yeah, the fire spell
lets yourself set yourself on fire, right?
Well, that's not what you use the fire spell for in this game. Actually, what you can do with the fire spell, and there's actually two good uses for this fire spell here.
Can't you burn bushes with it?
Not in this game, unfortunately. This is not Zelda 1, Rick. I know you play a lot of Zelda 1 randomizer, and I know you play vanilla Zelda from time to time, but unfortunately, can't burn bushes in this game.
What does this fire spell do?
What it does do is it kills Zoras and it kills Tektites. In fact, it's the only way you can lay a finger on those two particular enemies. Without the fire spell, there's nothing you can do about it. Their armor is just solid as a rock.
I'm gonna hate you for putting that '80s song in my head.
Oh, sorry. I know what you're talking about. I will not say it anymore. Let's move on. It's time for the Darunia skip. Yeah, Projan hitting him right before he gets to the bridge.
Ouch. Yes. That's going to be one of the critical spots here because we mentioned how close the race was between Simple Dude and Cantaloupe, and that is one of the places where time really started to separate between the two players. Let's see how 2Gamers does through the woods. On his way to grandmother's house we go. He gets a clean skip. He gets a clean run.
That's what he needed there. So 39.53 is where ProJN picks up the rescue challenge. He did the correct strategy using the fairy spell. If you're not going to use the fairy spell, please at least make sure you take out that orange Azalfos, because if you don't, you're going to get hit. And it's going to be 40:01. 8 seconds now. He's cutting to that lead, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, but now let's see how the entire run, the Dazzle run, goes for both of these runners.
Yeah, and we saw this is where the separation occurred between Simple Dude and Cantaloupe Me in the previous quarterfinal race. ProJN so far so good in this Dazzle run through the forest. These encounter skips are going to be very important. What is going to happen? It's clean so far for ProJN. He gets the first skip.
Yes, he does. That's a very good Dazzle for him. Let's see how 2Gamers does.
Can he get the second skip? I'm watching both sides. He don't know if he got the second skip off in time. We're going to find out.
It may look like he did.
He did get it. He did get it. Perfect. A perfect run for ProJN and JSR. Can he get this first skip? Can he get this first skip?
No!
Oh, and it's happening again. History repeating itself. Deja vu. It seems like the Dazzle doesn't want the David to win this race.
That did not look like he got it.
I don't think he moved it. I don't think he moved it. He didn't.
Oh my goodness gracious. And the jukes again! Oh.
He should just cash in his chips and just take the enforced encounter at this point.
Yeah, he should definitely have done that.
Yeah. The Dazzle proves to destroy David yet again. Working for Goliath for sure.
And he doesn't get the second time, and he's going back. At this point, he just has got to take the encounter.
Yeah, this is costing him so much time right here.
And he doesn't get it again, and now he just forces his chips, and he's going to have to deal with this now.
Yeah, and I think that's the race right there, Rick. I'm sorry to say this. Considering what happened between Simple Dude and Cantaloupe Me, that's the race right there. Unless something drastic happens to ProJN on the way back, I can't see JSR coming back from this.
Yeah, Cantaloupe with the best words there. If you never do that, if you fail once, take it. You have to. The amount of times you waste trying to take it further, just you losing a lot more time. It's like other tricks in this game. Sometimes you're going to lose a lot of time more by trying to go for it.
Now, lost in the shuffle here, Rick, there's two things that these players need to do here in the town of Darunia. The first thing that JSR is going to do, ProJN's already done it, is you're going to get the second and final sword ability of the game. This is the upward stab, which is not quite as OP as the downward stab, but there's one room where you're probably going to end up needing it, even though it's not required. It's required, obviously, because it's 100%. There's a key coming up, I believe, in the next palace where you got to do an upward stab to get it the conventional way. There's a way you can get it without the upward stab, but it's a tough maneuver.
And you notice that JN just took the encounter now. He gave it one try, and that was it.
You have the correct strategy there for Pro J. Now, if he doesn't get the second encounter, but he does get the second encounter skip. So this will give JSR a chance to gain a little bit of time on Pro J. And
he's got to cash in the chips fast, though, if he's going to do that. And let's see how the walk through the forest goes for JN.
Not able to do so. Now, the second part of this, JSR just returned the child to the rightful family. You get the next spell of the game. This is the shield spell, or actually not the shield spell. It strengthens a shield. It's the reflect spell. The reflect spell and Sprite, please.
Wow, is this randomizer? You can get the shield spell in Darunia?
Evidently it is, but no, it's the reflex spell. And you have to have it against the boss of Palace 4 because it reflects the beams that it shoots at you, and if you don't have it, you can't beat him.
So he's now 108 behind, unfortunately.
A minute 8 behind. And I don't think he pushed down. He didn't push down.
I'm pretty sure he didn't. He's just had no luck with the Darunia skips. They have been trolling him, and again,
this time he got it.
Finally gets it on the second try. He desperately needs to have this one if he wants any hope. And no, he got juked.
Oh wow.
Oh man.
And we can't. You guys can't see it on the restream, but we're looking at James here on his webcam. He is animated.
He is dumbfounded about the kind of luck that he has had with the Darunia skips. This race had been going so well for him until that, and this is where the separation is happening.
He's got to calm himself down because he continues to be riled up like this. He's going to make costly mistakes.
Yeah, you don't want to be on tilt, especially against an opponent like Pro JN. I mean, I can understand the frustration JSR is going through. I mean, he was right there. He was just seconds behind Pro JN before the Darunia walk, and Dazzle once again claims another David victim.
But yeah, the part between the east end of the raft spot and Palace 4 is by far the most horrible in the entire game. So much time can be lost there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, we've seen that happen in this case too.
Now here we are in the fourth palace of the game where Pro JN is. This is the Maze Palace, and the item they're going to be looking for are the boots, one of your favorite items. Rick, we'll see that in a moment.
It's my favorite item?
I thought it was your favorite item in this game.
You only use it for only so many seconds of this game.
Yeah, but you have a very nice phrase that you like to say. Now he gets the red jar. Now ProJan again took 2 deaths, so he can't take as many death abuses as he would like. I'm guessing he's only going to take 1, and if he does take 1, it's going to be the last one.
Yeah,
because you need
very likely.
Magic.
JSR, I'm going to guess is going to take 2. If I had to take a guess here.
I'm not certain about that. I know he likes to hold on to his lives in case he needs them.
That's true, but given how bad Darunia went for JSR, he might have to think about taking some chances here.
Yeah, that's correct. And he might have to make a bold move or 2 in this game. And anyway, speaking of boots, these boots that JN just grabbed are made for walking, and they're going to make his way over to Palace number 5 a little bit later on.
Yep, because they make you walk on certain water tiles of the game, and as Rick said, it's the only way to get to Palace number 5, the Palace on the Sea.
The Palace on the Sea. Filled with great enemies. It's such a nice leisurely place, just like the Island Palace, a nice vacation spot.
Yeah, it would be a nice vacation spot, and especially after these guys, destroy Palaces 4 and 5, yeah, then you can definitely go on vacation and not have to worry about these enemies that want to take the life out of you.
So, one of the things that happens in Palace number 4 is the diving competition, but because of life restrictions here, we're not going to see this quite as much.
No, not at all, Rick. And I mean, I certainly can't blame either of these players for not wanting to take some dives in. Again, especially in Pro JN situation, he already took the one intentional dive after he picked up the medicine, and then he had the unfortunate death against Rebanek. JSR has 1 death against him, and that was earlier in, I believe, Palace 3 also.
Yeah, it was against the blue iron knuckle in the room with the raft.
That's right, because he was unable to get the jackhammer off there. Now he's got the boots himself, so... Now, here's that room again that we all hate. that Pro JN is in. I keep getting the names because they both Pro JSN is what I wanted to try and call them, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about that. That was a good clean room there for JN.
So I hope you guys didn't notice I was away for 40 seconds.
You're away for 40 seconds?
We were having fun calling the race for 40 seconds here, so we couldn't have noticed. Anyway, JSR is now in the second room with this Doom Knocker here, and this red Stealthos-like enemies called Parotamos. We'll see if he takes a death abuse here. Nope.
So we are going to only really see one dive in Palace number 4. So we've got 2 faults for both runners so far.
Well, we might not see any dives from either players. I wouldn't be surprised, Rick, now at this point, that JSR takes no dives, especially if he gets a red jar out of the Iron Knuckle statue.
Yeah, it depends on his magic.
Correct. In Pro JN's case, I'm going to guess he takes it.
So as far as both of these runners are concerned right now, the Northern and the Walk, the Dazzle, that's the big difference between these 2 runners right now.
Once again, the Dazzle proving to be, I don't know if I want to call it the great equalizer, but in these last 2 David versus Goliath matches, they definitely have been the great equalizer in this particular set.
Yeah, and it does look like 2Gamers is starting to calm down a little bit after what happened to him, but you've got to still remain calm through this. You get yourself on tilt, as we mentioned before. You start to blow even more time.
And it's not like JSR is out of the race. It's still early, and there's always that chance that a bad, unfortunate thing happens. And, ooh, look at that dive from Pro JN. A nice high dive, and he bonks off the platform there. Very intriguing. I'll give him a 9.
And switching over to the ferry, too, which is kind of what Simple Dude did against Cantaloupe.
Oh, he did switch to the ferry. Dang, I did not see that. 9-5. Were you trying to trick me, Rick?
I'm not trying to trick you. He definitely did ferry into the lava.
All right, 9-5.
Oh, a 10 out of 10 from JBT here.
Now a couple of 10s from the chat. And highlighter a 6 out of 10 for Pro JN.
Well, we know
Rick,
where the Russian judge is.
What do you give it, Rick?
I gave it a 9.
9 for you, okay. So 9 from Rick, 9.5 from me. What do you give it, chat? Well, we'll see if JSR takes a dive. If not, then Pro JN wins gold automatically. But he's in the final room before the great boss, brought to you by the letters RNG Karok.
Hey, we'll talk about that as he approaches that. But first, what's your rating there, Ness Martin?
I actually missed it. Chat was complaining your audio was low, so I was trying to fix that.
Now
that was a pretty good Karok fight.
Oh yeah. That was definitely good. The RNG gods definitely lined up in JN's favor, and 2Gamers dive is 6.5.
4.5.
I'll give him an 8. Nice, half twist. You got a sword stab in, downward stab landing, but yeah, Pro JN wins.
Yep, no doubt about that match here. Game over. 51-19 out of Palace 4 for JN as he makes his way over to Palace number 5. We'll compare that to what 2Gamers is in just a few moments.
Yep. So Karok fight, that means the pressure is going to be on JSR. He's got to hope to get the same good RNG that Pro JN just had against Karok. But right now we're going to go into the 5th Palace of the game on Pro JN's side. Again, as I mentioned, this is the Palace on the Sea, and we might see a couple of eco keys potentially.
We know 2Gamers has been practicing it, so I wouldn't be surprised if he at least attempts it. He might have to after what happened in Darunia, but we'll see. First of all, this is critical moments for both of these. It does look like JN's lining up for this as 2Gamers is up against.
He gets the eco key to Pro JN. Success.
Touchdown, JN. And Karok, please. There we go.
It's a nice little bop there before the end of that fight, but that was a good Karok fight for JSR as well. However, he is going to be down. The split is 51-07, 52-22, a minute 15 behind Pro JN coming out of this Palace.
And that just shows you how much the walk between Palace 3 and Palace 4 is important.
Because remember, as Ennius Martin said, he was a minute 8 coming out of Darunia Town, so he only lost 7 seconds to Pro JN. So yeah, the big difference definitely the Dazzle Walk.
Yep, and we're just going to shape this up here. 2Gamers is not out of this. Stranger things have happened. Remember the valley that came between his opponent, Light Z, in
solid
the
block
stage.
room there for Pro Jan, by the way. He does not get trolled by our resident Dikembe Moatumbo, that fiery Moa that likes to troll.
Yeah, the guaranteed red jar drop there for JN, and he could have had a better block room, but it's all right.
Let's see what JSR, he is going to go for it, it looks like. He's got to nail this eco key jump. Can he do it? Swing and a miss. Ouch. Look at that bubble, though. He's just getting across the floor like a skateboarder would on coping. My goodness gracious, that is unbelievable, folks. I've never seen a bubble do that before. I give him a 10 out of 10 if this was skateboarding. That was amazing.
It's never happened before.
It's a tournament race, so things that have never happened before are just bound to happen sooner or later.
Only problem is that's going to lead
Oh no! The sine curve statues just took down JSR. Oh no!
Well, he needed magic. He got it now. I know that's definitely not how he wanted to do that. That's probably 10 seconds he just lost right there.
I think
another 10
more.
it's even more.
Yeah, because he didn't get the eco case. So you're talking about 25 seconds more of a lead that Pro JN just got.
Yep. Well, speaking of things we haven't seen happen before, that's the first time we've seen somebody take a death there.
Yeah, absolutely. We were just talking about that. And there is the flute pickup there for Pro JN. We also like to call it the plunger because that's exactly what it looks like, a plunger. And before we tell you what it does, let's see how JSR does in that same block room. And he gets the key on the first try. Well done. And does not take the hit by Dikembe Moatumbo. Good clean room there for JSR.
Yeah, it looks like it wanted to try its best there, but
yeah,
2Gamers wasn't going to allow that to happen to him just yet.
Nope. So anyways, what the flute does is there's 2 uses for the flute. Number 1, you're going to use it to ward off the River Devil that guards the last couple of palaces and towns in the game. And number 2, it is used to gain access to the entrance of the 6th palace.
We'll talk about palace number 6 when we get to that point, but first let's grab the dead end key on JN's end.
The swag key grab.
Holy smokes, man! Oh man, Pro JN. This is just like Simple Dude's Eastern Hyrule so far. It's been clean. It's been swag. It seems like everything has gone Pro JN's way in Eastern Hyrule.
Wouldn't it be something if those 2 meet up in the championship?
Oh, if those 2 meet up in the championship, if the race is not close, it's going to be a disappointment. I expect the 2 to be like stroke for stroke, room for room, fight to fight. That's what kind of race we're hoping to see.
I think Simple actually wants that rematch. They did meet at last year's AGDQ, if I'm not mistaken. And JN did win that fight.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm sure they'd like to have that rematch if there's a lot on the line, if they had that AGDQ fight. Now here we are. This is the first time in the game where you're going to be wanting to level up as many times as possible because you want to get to the 9,000 experience points. Because looking at JSR's situation, he needs 1,200 to get to Magic 5. He's in great shape because Guma's worth 500 experience points. Plus, he just got that Mago kill for an extra 200 points, and he now has more than enough. Now he's got enough points. Doesn't even need character. See the 9,000? He's got it right now. Because what he's going to do is he's going to get to 866 after Palace 5 is over. But what you don't want to do, Rick, you don't want to go to Attack 9.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that when we get to Guma coming up here on JN's end after he gets this final key.
And yeah, we have a correction from Svenne. It was at SGDQ.
Yeah, SGDQ is what Sven has just told us in chat. We do apologize for that, but yep, they do want that rematch from that SGDQ.
Oh, well, and the swag key grab from James as well. He
My
gained
goodness.
at least 1 second by that.
Wow, Pro JN can do no wrong here in Eastern Hyrule, much like Simple Dude had the same situation against Cantaloupe. This is just, these two, you look at their PBs, they're 3/8 of a second apart against each other. They're pretty much mirror images.
Yeah, but there's still got to be some business that gets taken care of here. First, it's time to face off against Guma here on JN. This is a boss that can do a lot of damage if you're not careful.
Yeah, look at the damage that's already caused Pro JN already. He's got to use his.
He's got him off the right side.
He's not happy
boy.
about this Guma fight, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
And look out, he's down to 2 bars health. He finally gets the last hit on Guma. That was not a very good Guma fight there for Pro JN. Does get the job done, and he does not lose a life. That's the important thing.
Yeah, and now if 2Gamers has a better Guma fight, then he can actually claim some time. Because also keep in mind, there's also a couple of seconds that JN is going to be shedding here because of the fill-up.
Yeah, that's right. But again, because he was a minute 15 behind, remember, going into this palace. So and he lost about 25 seconds. So if he's within 2 minutes, I would say that he would still be in the running. But again, he's going to need some mistakes on Pro JN.
Yeah, we'll see what happens when we get to that point. Grab the heart container, and Ooh! Whoa! Just barely he get that before he went off the screen.
Oh, that would have been disastrous, folks. The soft lock. He was that close to soft locking, ladies and gentlemen. How that happens is when you get to a point where you level up, and it happens at the exact same time that you leave the screen, the game doesn't know what to do, and you get a blank blue or black screen, depending on where you are in the game. The music continues on playing, but there's nothing you can do. Your controls are lost, and you have soft locked.
No river dance here on JN's end. He takes an encounter in town.
Oh, that
Out the town.
could prove to be costly if he's not able to get the skip. Can he get the skip? I don't know.
No,
he
he's
cannot.
too far away. He's got to take the encounter
Chance
now.
Yep, chance for JSR to catch up if he's able to get River Dance, and he needs it desperately.
Yeah, he's got to have a very, very clean river dance too.
That's
but first,
right.
Guma.
Yep, he's got to get past Guma first, and again, experience points not going to be a factor for him. Tries to do the jackhammer. That was wow!
Wow! What a kill!
Oh my
That
god!
was a fantastic Guma fight. One of the better ones you're going to see. JSR just destroyed Guma right there. It's 1 hour, 13 seconds. It's 1 minute, 42 seconds difference between the two. And if he gets River Dance properly, he could be back to within about 70 seconds.
Yeah, and that's exactly what he needs is a clean river dance. But first, let's grab the heart container as Ben now making his way to the bridge to reset his timers and then head into the forest. Time to visit some towns, okay?
Yeah, well, let's see if he's going to use the swag fire spell. That fire spell that I was talking about earlier, nope, he's going to use the fairy spell. And that's the alternative method you might see racers use in this cave full of 50-point Tektites. Some players would use the fire spell to just get rid of them and save on their fairy spell, but Pro Jane's going to use the alternative strat, which is fine.
No,
So,
he did
Riverdance-
not ferry defenses, I think, and if you don't ferry defenses, you usually use ferry in here. Those are the two common strats are you either ferry defenses or the Tektite caves.
JSR gets the skip!
2Gamers river dance perfect there for JSR.
Yep, and he absolutely positively needed that. That's going to gain him quite a bit of time on Pro Jan. He still has quite the deficit, but that is exactly the break he needed right there.
You can take little pieces off here and there, and that will help you out.
That's right.
Wow, I'm still impressed with that Guma fight.
I am too. All right, remember the magic word, Rick?
Please.
Wah, wah. Nope, it's spell.
Yeah, it's
What the
the
spell does.
it's the famous spell.
Yes, indeed, NES Martin. It is indeed the famous spell. Two uses for the spell, Rick. Number one, he's going to use the spell right here. Audience, what do you give that pose? Right over the door! I'm sorry, I got to give that a 10 out of 10. What a pose by ProJN.
Yeah, that's definitely a 10 right there.
Unbelievable. Right on the doorway. That's the best one I've seen. No question about it.
9.9.
Oh, jeez, Rick.
What would be your 10, Rick?
Yeah, Rick, what would be your 10?
Crotch sword?
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, fair enough indeed. Anyways, that's the first use of the spell. You use it to make that building rise from the ashes, and you get that magical key, which unlocks all of the doors, just like it does in Zelda 1. You're also going to pick up this magic container here. It's the first thing you would encounter, but it's the last thing you're going to pick up, because by picking up the 8th and final magic container, any magic that you've used up at that point, and you're going to use some magic, gets refilled to full. And also, the 8th magic container is required for the final spell of the game, the Thunder Spell.
You need my help.
Yep, that is the phrase that the woman says when you go into that door. You need my help, and that's how you get that 8th magic container. But if my memory is correct, yes, my memory, of course, is correct. You have to have the other 7 magic containers before you can get that 8th magic container.
That is correct. Your memory is correct.
Use the fire. Yes, and ProJN is going to use the fire spell against those Tektites. Nice shot.
Step into my fire.
All right, so this is where you're likely going to take an encounter. I mean, there's just not much room to deal with because you've got the water in the way, and that's water you can't walk on.
And the upstab for...
I give him a 7.5 as well. I'll give him a 7.5.
Yeah.
Oh, it takes the
encounter on the heart.
Tough break there for ProJN.
Peer pressure 7.5.
Yeah. So everybody gives a 7.5 to JSR. He's going to use this flute here and make the 6th palace of the game appear just like that. 3-Eye Rock Palace.
Welcome to 3-Eye Rock.
All right,
we
go ahead.
Greet you with a key door right as you come down here. We give you no way to open that door if you don't go to that hidden town.
Yes, because there are no keys to be found in this palace at all, except for the keys that Rebanak and Barba drop at the end of these boss fights. But those keys are not going to help you unlock that particular door.
Oh, why don't they help you get into that door?
Because you have no keys before you can get to those boss battles. The boss battles are past that door.
Fine.
So you got to have that magical key, or you got to use the fairy spell to go through it. But you can't use the fairy spell to go through it here in this tournament. Remember, this is an all keys 100% run. If you were to go through that door without the magical key, that would be a disqualification. You have to have the rightful key if you want to use the fairy spell through a door.
Yeah, and you don't really want to take a disqualification at this point in the run.
All right, here we are in this Canadian pit room that ProJN is in, and no problems, it looks like.
James takes a fixed encounter.
Oh, tough break there. Yeah, there is a fixed encounter there, but that is the only encounter so far. Hopefully he does not take another encounter going into 3-Eye Rock Palace. Here's the first Rebanak rematch, and boy, before you can blink, he's down.
Oh, that's the power of attack 8.
Exactly, Rick.
So getting the cross on JN's end, 106.07. We'll see what it is for 2Gamers when he gets to that point.
Perfect. We'll keep that in mind, because again, I gotta believe that JSR has gained some time on ProJN after getting the Riverdance game, and both of the players' trek going into the 6th palace was about the same.
Yeah, we'll compare the notes, and that's I noticed that.
Oh no! He took the fall, JSR. You're supposed to jump over that, and you could see the look on his face, Rick.
Oh,
yeah, this.
Did he go
this is
through
not
the
what he needed.
Canadian hole?
No, he did not.
No.
Oh, that.
No.
Ah, okay. So not as bad as the Canadian hole then.
Yeah, because Canadian hole, you had to backtrack over to the left and then back up the elevator. You lose a lot more time.
Yeah, that's right.
We don't have a time set up just yet for the simple versus error semifinal. We know that's coming up sometime soon.
Yep, should be a good match. I look forward to that one. And now the item in this palace here, this 3-Eye Rock Palace, is the cross. You had mentioned it, but we didn't explain what it does. What the cross does is it enables you to see invisible MOAs that you cannot see through the Wilson Wall, the final Wilson Wall encounter, also in Old Kasuto Town, and also Valley of Death. Because without the cross, you can't see him. You take this damage like, what just hit me? Well, it's those MOAs.
Two things. First of all, interesting use of the spell there on JN's end to get rid of the sine curve things, and also the comment from 7-8 time about the American hole where James fell down.
Yep. Decent rematch fight for JSR, but he's going to find himself, you said 116.07, is that correct?
106.07.
Or 106.07. Well, it's 107.55. It's now a minute and 48 seconds difference between the two runners. Is time running out for JSR here?
Well, the Valley of Death is what's going to be the big determining factor. I think if JN is still a minute and a half ahead entering the Great Palace, then we can pretty much say that might be the end of the Cinderella story here.
Yeah, unfortunately.
What a kill!
Yes, another one. You better watch that fight. Don't blink or you're going to miss it. That was another quick rematch fight for Pro JN, and now we go. He's got this room left. Now, by the way, on the other side of this room is a 1-up. He's not going to grab it. Obviously, he doesn't need it. But if you were down on lives, you can get this 1-up. However, it's heavily guarded by a blue iron knuckle and several fast-moving bubbles.
Let's see how the jackhammering skills are for JN.
Yeah, he's got to be careful that he doesn't lose too many of these lives here. So here we go. Because I believe both of these players have 2 lives left. Goes for the jackhammer. Not quite. Cannot get the one cycle.
Gotta be careful. Yeah. And he's laughing about it. He can't believe it.
Yeah, he's lucky he didn't fall into that lava. He would have been down to 1 life. And again, Valley of Death, you can lose lives easily in those random encounters.
Don't get bopped by the sine curves, 2Gamers. Don't get bopped. That happened to you in Palace 5.
And he doesn't. That was fortunate.
Anyways, 109.33 is the exit out of Palace 6 for JN.
Yep, so it's going to be roughly 2 minutes difference for JSR as we get out of Palace 6 for him. He's got to get through this lava room, another room, and then he's going to have his second rematch. Now here we are in the old town of Kasuto.
What kind of things would you be looking out for in the Valley of Death?
Valley of Death, well, obviously the MOAs are one thing because they just like their cousin, the bots, they love to push you into the lava. And also the floating eyeballs also like to push you into the lava as well. So those are things you want to watch out for in the Valley of Death. Another thing you might see come into play, sometimes it comes into play, sometimes it doesn't. There's a red jar just past the final forced Wilson Wall encounter that they're going to try and skip.
What a kill.
That was a really good rematch fight for JSR. Yes, indeed. So very nicely done there. Well, there's a red jar there. And if you miss the encounter skip, if you get juked and you don't scroll the screen far enough, there's a chance you can despawn that red jar. And if you were low on magic, you're going to have a very difficult trek past Valley of Death without losing a life.
What about you, Ness Martin? What would you be watching out here in the Valley of Death for?
Well, the first major thing is getting the that first fixed encounter skip for sure.
JSR going for the jackhammer. Wow, he gets it!
But yeah, other than that, it's pretty much just if you can avoid a couple of random encounters, that's great. But it usually doesn't happen.
1:11:07. It's a 1 minute 45-second difference between the two at the crystal placements.
The actual time I gave was at the exit 1:11:19.
Right. I was looking at the split that Pro JN had a crystal placement.
Yep.
To JSR. That was the gauge I used there. But yeah, 1 minute and 45 seconds, and so far so good for Pro JN in the Valley of Death. This encounter here, sometimes, but he gets the God pattern, does Pro JN.
Yeah, that definitely helps. The fact that he can skip over this, no problems. And off to the first cave.
Yep, absolutely. Here, now the big question is, what is Pro JN going to do against Max the Scorpion here? He is definitely a guardian here going into the second half of the Valley of Death. You got to try and jackhammer past it. He tries to do so, and he gets through it, but no swag points.
Yeah, he takes a bob from it, too.
Yeah, so that's actually negative swag points.
Well, that's definitely give it up for 2Gamers, especially as he's making his way through this final run here. He's had a phenomenal tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. He's had some great moments here and great races to get to be 6-0 coming into this race. I mean, that is nothing short than amazing considering he's just started playing this game, Rick.
Yeah, the fact that he made it here to the final 4
absolutely.
Says a lot about his growth in this game.
And again, it just came down to one thing. I mean, both of these racers have played a really good game. And just like Simple Dude and Cantaloupe, it came down to the encounter skips.
1:12:48 entry into Great Palace here for JN.
JSR is not able to get the skip, and he does the correct thing and scrolls the screen. He'll try it again. No juke this time. He gets it.
Jump over the red jar.
Yeah. He's trying to grab it quickly, and he just flat out missed. So he's going to use the spell to get past this tough area, which is a strategy a lot of people are going to use. Not everybody. Some people don't use any spells.
Now, I noticed we're not going to see Magic 8 on JN's end. He's too far away.
No, 876. Yeah, he's skipped. How is he only at 876? I'm a little confused here, Rick.
He only grabbed. He didn't level up in Palace 5. He likes to get his magic in Palace 6, so it's not as dependent on a jar.
I see.
If I remember correctly.
I'll tell you what, it's been a great Valley of Death so far for JSR. He's gotten the kind of Valley of Death that you need to have to win the race. Unfortunately, it's just that Pro JN matched him.
Well, until he had gotten bopped by these MOAs.
Yeah, the MOAs are no fun to deal with. Let's see how he does against Scorpion Max here. And doesn't take a hit there, so he gets no swag points. So better than Pro JN. He didn't get hit.
So at the 1 hour 15 mark where we're coming across here, 1 hour 16 soon to come. Now, I know 2Gamers is not playing and looking at his timer. He's got it up on his screen, but he's not looking at it. At what point does he think he's going to be seeing a finish here from JN?
Well, it's probably going to be in the 117 range that he's going to be looking for to see when Pro JN would hit. And here's the Scott Picula room. Oh boy, can he get nice jump there by Pro JN? He will not get trolled by Scott Picula this time. That was well played.
I was worried about that jump at first.
Yeah, because you can miss that jump rather easily. It's a pretty tight jump, Rick. I mean, you want to make sure that you break the correct block so that Picula is out of your range.
It's over 2 minutes difference here between the runners now.
Yeah, and that's just
not playing nice.
The only way right now, Rick. This has been a situation that always has the potential of happening. Because if I'm not mistaken, both of these players are down to 2 lives, and you got to believe that Pro JN is going to take the death abuse before the Thunderbird fight. If by some reason Pro JN screws up the Thunderbird fight, doesn't have much health left for Dark Link, there's always that chance. You never know.
And also, one other thing that I just noticed here, we already saw the level up on 2Gamers end.
And he would have loved to have saved the level up for a later situation, and sometimes it just does not work out that way.
So barring a major difficulty here in the final few rooms of the Great Palace, it looks like it's going to be JN moving on to the championship.
Well, there's one thing I do want to point out, Rick. He does not have Magic 8, which means he cannot use all of the goodies for Thunderbird. He can use the Thunder Spell and one of these choices, and we see he's down to 1 life left. He can either use the Reflex Spell only, or he can use the Jump and Shield Spell, but he cannot use all of them.
That's going to be very, very treacherous, too. You got to be careful.
Yeah, especially if it's the sloppy Thunderbird fight. So let's see what happens when Pro JN is about to take on Thunderbird.
Here we go.
8 hits. He's going to use the shield and jump technique.
Wow, the triple hit.
He'll have no magic to use. Oh, wow. That was a great Thunderbird fight there. So Pro JN is going to have all of his life. Yep, so unless Dark Link gets like a huge bribe from JSR, I think this race is over.
Yep, and here's the battle we've been waiting for, the Dark Link battle between it. Now, no room to cast shield.
Yeah, so he's going to take quite a bit of damage if he does get hit. So again, it would have to take the trolliest Dark Link fight in the world for ProJN to not pull this off. It's going to take 8 hits no matter what attack power you're at. We're at 3 hits right now. Make it 4 hits, 5 hits for ProJN. There's 6, 2 more to go, 1 more to go. Does get bopped before he has the perfect fight, but that is going to do it. ProJN advances to the championship round.
With an official Speedruns Live time of 1 hour, 17 minutes, and 49 seconds, ProJN championship bound.
Yeah, and now that I don't have to be unbiased anymore, go Sweden!
I'm telling you what, 117.49, 117.43 according to his splits here. Yep. I mean, JSR had a chance. JSR, I told you that he had to go on PB pace, and again, the difference, big difference, the Dazzle Walk.
The Dazzle Walk, pretty much you could rule Eastern Hyrule is the big contributing factor in this run. We saw it happen in the race between Simple Dude and Cantaloupe. We saw it happen here again. Eastern Hyrule just unfortunately comes to the crashing halt of the Cinderella story, and now the carriage has turned into a pumpkin.
Yep. I mean, it's always sad to see these Cinderella stories come to an end, but that's just the way it rolls. And again, the Dazzle Walk destroyed 2 Cinderella runs. But that's the nature of the game, the nature of Zelda 2, Rick.
But, you got to give it up to 2Gamers. How much he has
doubt.
grown in this game during this tournament.
Rick. Right. Now, at 886, JSR will be able to cast all of the goodies for the Thunderbird fight. So, in addition to the Thunder, he can use Reflect, the Shield spell, and the Jump spell. So,
and plus
here we go.
And plus he can do Fire coming up against Dark Link.
Yes, he very well could, depending on how this fight goes. If he has full health, I would imagine he's going to use that Fire spell. And just a couple more hits left to go. Got him.
There he goes, and he shakes his head, because at this point, this is when he would get the IRC up. So he now, I believe, knows his fate.
Yeah, absolutely. He's now approaching the 120 mark in this race. And yeah, he knows, he probably knows by now, if he hasn't seen it, that he has been beat. But let's see how he does against Dark Link.
Yeah, he knows it now.
Yep.
He definitely knows it now. He said he was going to be at Thunderbird. He was just going to go ahead and do that.
He's got 4 of the hits. There's 5, 6, 7. The last hit. Oh, the final hit. Swag. Bonus points for JSR. What a way to finish off his tournament on the last hit of Dark Link. So that'll do it.
Yeah, that super mega extra swag using Fire on Dark Link. That's always going to have a special place in my heart. Players using Fire.
That last hit, though, because most player would take the last hit on the left edge. He goes into the center of the ring to deal the final blow.
That was a really nice Dark Link from James.
2Gamers One Nerd finishing with an official Speedruns Live time of 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 8 seconds. Great job for both of our runners here. Make sure you give them a follow, ProJN, as well as 2Gamers One Nerd. Let's see if we can't get them in here for interviews.
Absolutely. Yeah, both of these races did a really, really good job.
We have James here.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Joining us first is 2Gamers One Nerd. Nice try on the run. I know we're going to let's bring it up right now. The whole Dazzle Walk, the whole walk to Darunia.
I never have had one that bad, and the entire time I ran this game. That cost me at least 2 minutes. I mean, it threw me off for the next good portion of the run. I honestly felt like my combat was very solid in this, other than that one room in Palace 3.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, you guys, you were pretty close, about a roughly 10-second difference going into that Dazzle Walk. You guys were just neck and neck. This was very similar to the Cantaloupe Simple Dude race, where it was a close race, and then the Dazzle Walk.
It was terrible. I've never had a Dazzle Walk that rough. I mean, it was... it threw me all off. I was so salty after that. And then I missed the Eco Key. I had the early death in 3. It was, for the most part, I'm very happy with the run. Just those 3 areas cost me probably any chance at winning. It is what it is. But I do want to thank ProJN for the race, and congratulations, sir. And I cannot wait to see the final. And to Prez J Polk for putting on the tournament, and you guys for the commentary. And everybody watching, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm really, really happy to have been a part of this, and I can't wait for the next one.
My next question for you is, after what happened to you with the Dazzle Walk, how did you calm yourself down? Because I know you were getting very, very animated about what was going on during that whole entire stretch. How did you calm yourself down so you didn't take any more unfortunate deaths?
Honestly, I don't know how I calmed down. I was seeing white. By the time I decided to just go through that forced encounter with the bubbles, I was seeing white. I've never had that terrible of spawns in that area of the game. I've had that in the Valley of Death before, but that was just ferocious. I've never seen that before, and it just kept coming and it kept coming. I honestly, I didn't really calm down until probably about Palace 5 when I decided to take a peek at my time just to see how much my pace was. And when I saw my pace, I was just like, okay, I'm just going to finish the run and just see what happens.
As we welcome you to the room, we got Pro JN here with us also. Congratulations.
Thank you. That was a... wow. You know what I promised last time? I didn't live up to that promise.
What was that promise?
Not gonna be a hangover today.
Yeah, you did mention something like that in your race against Pierpont Lemkin, and we were kind of worried that that might have ended up being your downfall. And, I mean, the time that you put up was a high 117. I mean, what were your thoughts about the first part of your run? I mean, Western Hyrule was pretty much a train wreck. Go over that with us.
The thing is, every time I'm hangover, I get these cold hands, and also racing, it makes me just super nervous, and I just don't focus, and the thumb doesn't work just doesn't work. So I do small mistakes like here and there, and deaths here and there. That just happens.
I'll tell you what. Go ahead, Rick.
I was going to say, talk to me about your luck, because for a long stretch there, it just kept seeming like every single time you had a chance to get a pea bag, it was a red jar.
Oh well, I got lots of pea bags.
Not in the early run.
Yeah, I think I got the 3 first pea bags. Didn't I?
You left Palace 1 with Attack 1.
No, with
Attack 3. Attack 3, yep.
Yeah, Attack 3 I left with, but in that mountain I got 3. Yeah, I got 3 pea bags, the first drops. So I was good of getting Attack 6 out of P2.
No, maybe that's true, but after those first 3, there were like 6 red jars in a row, I think.
Oh wow! I didn't pay attention because I only need 1 after P2 in order.
Can you promise us to not be hangover for the finals?
Yeah, I will. If it's on, I don't know when the finals is gonna be, but I really hope it's gonna be on Friday. I won't be hangover that on Friday.
Interesting.
Depends on how Error and Simple, if they can race on Friday.
2Gamers, are you still there?
Yes, I am. And by the way, GG, great game, JN, and congratulations, man.
Oh, thank you. You too.
Tell me about that Goomba fight, because that was one of the best Goomba fights we've ever seen.
Well, it goes back to right before the tournament started, when they had the Zelda relay race, and I saw Error that in that relay race against Cantaloupe Me, and I decided that was something I wanted to practice, and I really, really put time into learning it. And it's not a guaranteed thing; it doesn't happen every time. But if I get the right pattern, if a Goomba comes at you in the right way, and you're able to get in his hitbox, it's almost the right practice. You can get it down to where you can get it almost every time. But that was a pretty good Goomba fight. I'll definitely say that.
Yeah, that was a tremendous fight. It was really well played. I mean, it kept you in the race there. But yeah, the Dazzle Walk, it pretty much was an mirror image of the Cantaloupe Simple Dude race. It was neck and neck coming out of Western Hyrule, but then the favorites just turned it on in Eastern Hyrule. It just came down to the encounter lock.
Yeah, I had a lot of bad encounters. I mean, 3 encounters to Bagoo is not good. I didn't have any clean Swamp Walk with that Troll Fairy, and then the Dazzle was just... I mean, I'm going to watch the VOD and just see just so I can shake my head and laugh with beer in my hand. Other than that, I mean, I had some good chances. I liked the maze walk too on one encounter. That was nice, but I mean, against like a runner the caliber of a Pro JN or a Simple Dude or any of these runners that are still in this tournament, I mean, you can't make mistakes like that, and I did. So whether or not that cost me the race is irrelevant. I mean, one of the best. He's the world record holder. I mean, you can't make mistakes like that.
Yep, it's just one of those situations where, for some reason, we don't know why it's happening, but the Dazzle Walk is not favoring the Davids in this competition right now.
Well, definitely something I'll practice before I do more runs. But yeah, man, thanks a lot, everybody. I really enjoyed being a part of this, and I wish you nothing but the best of luck going forward, JN, in your match against the winner of Simple Dude and Error.
I'll just ask you one question here, 2Gamers. Did you envision when you hit the enter button for this tournament that you would be playing here in the Final Four?
No way. Not even close. I didn't even think I'd make the knockout round. But then again, I mean, I put in a lot of time, and I've had a lot of people help me out. And when I entered the tournament, my PB was 1 hour, 24 minutes, and 33 seconds. And my PB right now is 1 hour, 18, 27. And
6 minutes.
That's a lot of hard work. I mean, I've been practicing every single day since I entered the tournament, every single day. And it's paid off a lot. And I've had a lot of people helping me out along the way, and they know who they are. And I owe them this. I mean, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them and the hard work I put in. But if we have one next year, I want to be back. So you better believe I'm going to keep working.
You've grown a long ways during the course of this tournament. Congratulations, 2Gamers, One Nerd. Keep at it. And maybe you'll be joining the Sub-117 crew at some point in time. Congratulations to you.
Thanks a lot, you guys. Have a great rest of your day.
Yep, you too. Congratulations again on a very fine tournament.
Thank you.
So, yeah,
All right.
JN, what do you think? Simple or Error in the finals? What's your thought on that matchup?
I would think Simple would win, but you never know with Error. He is crazy consistent at this game. He sure is.
Who would you rather?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, I think Simple will win.
Who would you rather face?
I'm not sure. Really, I lost against Error last year, so I'm really not sure.
And you won against Simple this summer at SGDQ, right?
Yeah, I did. But that was totally another category and all of that.
Oh, it was another category, right. My memory is all messed up.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how the finals will turn out. I will be nervous as always because I get so hyped up about races.
Yeah, it's gonna be super exciting. Whoever you get to face, it's gonna be super exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it should be a very, very fun match, whether it be against you against Error or you against Simple Dude. What do you think you're going to be working on to get yourself ready for the championship?
I am probably gonna do everything. Like, I'm gonna go out and run before the race and stuff. Like, I need to get the blood circulation going and all of that stuff. I'm gonna be prepared for the finals.
And the beer can will be sitting down.
What? The beer candle?
They said the beer can will be sitting down unopened.
Yeah, unopened. It's gonna be unopened, I promise that.
I just want to ask one last question here before we wrap things up. How good does it feel to have the world record in this game right now?
It actually feels really good because I thought I lost like the stuff to get the world record in this game, but then I got the run. And it was funny because I used simple splits. I could see that I was ahead of his time, and that gave me some positive feelings just to keep on going.
Well, congratulations on that. Anything you guys want to add?
Yeah, I don't know if you have noticed, Pro JN, but Simple Dude is back right on your heels. You know the difference between your two PBs is about 3/8 of a second?
Yeah, I know. I actually saw that. I was away yesterday and I saw his splits and it was 1:15.09. He's really, really close now.
Who do
Yeah,
you
it's-
think will reach the 74 first? You or Simple?
Simple, easily.
Well, you just never know. It could be one of those goals where you're just right close to it, but it takes a lot to get going right. And who knows? It might come within the next week or so, and it may not come for another few months. Who knows?
You never know. It could actually happen in the championship.
That would be phenomenal. I would love to see that.
Congratulations, Pro JN, on a phenomenal run. And once again, get yourself all ready to go. You're in the championship.
Yeah, thanks. And thank you for doing all the commentary. I think it's awesome.
It's our pleasure. Thank you very much, and a great race again between the both of you tonight. And good luck to you in the championship.
Thank you.